Hi guys, this is a video with some tricks you can use in your games. The list is in no particular order, but all of the moves are quite nice. Also, I'd like to play the like-dislike game with you. If one of these is new for you, leave a like and leave a dislike if you already knew all of them. So let's start the 10 things you might not know about in League of Legends. Number 10. Combine skills through animation cancelling. It's actually possible to use skills simultaneously, speeding up the total casting time. To show this, we are getting chased by this red mannequin. What we want to do here is to use our E to slow it down and then escape with our Q. But if we do it in this order, we have to wait for the E animation to finish before we can use our Q. But if we use our Q first, we can use an action gap in the Q animation to start and finish our E animation with the Q automatically, removing the wait time entirely. This way our play gets just that little bit faster, which means you can every now and then get away from someone chasing you and make it home alive, or just leave a big giant snow field. Our next example for this is us again getting chased by the mannequin, this time as Thresh. What we want to do is quicken our QE combo to slow our opponent while locking them in place. To achieve this we need Smartcast enabled and then use our Q first and immediately follow up with the E to get this weird looking effect. Speeding up the combo yet again to create additional space we can use to escape and possibly saving one of our teammates with us in style. Number 9. Flash moving abilities. In this example, we are trying to hit this out of range mannequin as Ahri. By using the charm first, followed by an immediate flash in its cast direction, we can increase the charm's range through moving our champion closer to the target as well as hiding the spell's animation. Compare this to first flashing and then charming. It's much slower and easier to react to. To make this impossible, do it the other way around and always hit those charms while surprising your opponents with your stunning moves. Now we are Kassadin trying to hit the mannequin. Again, flashing directly after using our ult, we can hit it even though it was out of range. I recommend Smartcast for this to make it more reactive and have it easier by saving a click. Now spice up your Kassadin and earn the title Flashwalker. Signing off is Mordekaiser. This time we move the Q forward using our now well-known technique. Cast a Q, then flash into range to unleash his hammer. Keep in mind that a lot of champions have abilities that can be moved this way, these were just a few examples. Number 8. Leona's crowd control chain combo. With Leona, people usually combo like this. They start with E, try to hit Q and then follow it up with their ultimate. But if you take a look at the white bar showing when the mannequin is crowd controlled and when not, you'll notice small gaps in between the combo. Those gaps opponents can use to flash away usabilities or fight back. Now, what can we do to make that better? Well, your combo should go like this. First, use E and while still casting, use your ultimate and only after that stun is almost over at the Q. This way you can see there won't be a gap for your opponent to ever do anything except being taken out, not quite for dinner, by your teammates. Also, since we were just on the topic of flash moving, Leona can actually move her E that way. As you can see, we are out of range, but when we add our flash, as learned before, we can actually get in range. Pretty neat, right? Number 7. Level 3 Jungle Routes. So this one shouldn't be in here since it's as important and standard as last hit minions. Yet a lot of the time junglers don't seem to know about different jungle experience gain, and that is why I'm including it. It's actually possible to hit level 3 with just 3 camps. The crux is that it only works if you do either the Gromp, the Golems, or a third buff as part of your 3 camps. Why is this important? Well, take a look at this game. The first advantage is that should your opponents cheese in the Tribush and bot lane, if you went for the Golem camp, you can actually be there in time to turn around their ambush. This is also true for the Gromp camp on red side. The second advantage is that you get to be very flexible in the way you approach the game. For example, even after the Golem camp, if bot lane had a decent trade and flashes were used, I could just decide to go there and do a quick level 2 gank, while also having chickens or my opponent's Gromp Wolf camp open to game a level 3. In this game I attempt a level 3 mid lane gank, while being a huge threat due to my high early level. So let's take a look how this gank goes. And also take note that Kayle isn't even level 3 yet. Well, my gank sadly doesn't do a whole lot, But since my opponent's jungler is Zac, and sometimes they take chickens and wolves after their blue buff, leaving him at level 2 only, I go for the invade. Confirming that the chickens aren't there, the worst that can happen is a 2v2 with my mid laner having an advantage. As you can see, I get the full reward here and secure myself a free red buff just by doing a level 3 jungle route. This play looks very comical, but I kid you not, it just works. Number 6. Minion Wave Control. This technique helps you to make sure that the minion wave will push towards your tower. Meet the wave early, just like shown, and when the first minion attacks come in, start moving while letting the minions stack closer together. Then simply walk into the bush to break the line of sight and their attacks. Walking down the lane is harder to do. Another sweet bonus is, if you are playing Grasp of the Undying, you can charge it up through the wave tanking and trigger it with your first hit on your opponent. How does it all work? The minion meeting point gets set closer to our opponent's side and their minions individually attack ours earlier since they are stacked together. Additionally, our opponent has to last hit first, since our wave will have low HP faster, increasing the speed of the push. Now just watch the third wave hit resulting in a heavy push to our side. For a matchup, you want to dodge early fights in, or if you expect some cheese ganks on top lane early, this will set you up nicely to get a safe level 3 under your tower. Just make sure you don't die to a very desperate dive. And now, take a look at that push. Just beautiful. Number 5. Minion Locations. Are you familiar with the tale of Kha'Zix the Wise? It goes like this. Ka goes for an invade because he wants to pressure the opponent's jungler. To do that, he decides to steal the golem camp away. But when he walks around this corner, something unexpected happens. The last minion sees him. And you know what happens when a minion spots you there. The opponent's top laner will pay you a visit, their jungler will come to get you, and the mid laner cuts you off, just securing the kill. So basically, you die, like this. What technique could Ka have used to prevent this? How could he be using the tools at his disposal, like the minimap, to tell where the wave had been? Well, just go check your own wave, since minion waves are symmetrical. You can even see their vision. He didn't check his own wave, so even though he could stealth from champions, he couldn't from minions. Ironic. Number 4. Plants and plant hopping. So, plants have been around for a while now, and of course, there is a trick to them. How we all know and love them is, we hit them and get a slight reward. Nothing special here. But if we now combine that hit with our flash, we can do this. Hit the plant from the other side. With this vision plant, turning around the scan isn't that useful, but let me show you what we can do with the explosion plant. Just hit it from one side and flash on your auto attack's impact. The timing is a bit tricky, but you'll figure it out, and by doing so, we can jump to the other side. Now, imagine getting chased from where this ward is. What usually happens when we use the plant is that our opponents flash after us from where we just have been and still get the kill. But if we combine it with our flash, we can separate us from them, possibly baiting their flash even if they are right on top of us, and create it out of distance. Number 3. Font of Life rune and its synergy. So this bit is about one of my favorite runes, Font of Life. You can find it right here. What can it do? Let's imagine you are playing Ludo here. In this fight, you save your tank in Udyr. That's the correct play. Yet you couldn't help your ADC in Twitch. Or could you? Let's run it again, this time slower. Your Q will slow the opponents and apply Font of Life to them. All attackers will then trigger a small heal. Through the heal, Twitch can self-trigger Ardent's sensor just by auto-attacking. And as you can see, Ardent is active, increasing Twitch's damage, which means Lulu is helping. Some champions can trigger this interaction effortlessly, like Nami's E, Karma's Q, even Janna's R. So keep that in mind in your next game, and maybe you want to give this rune a go. Number 2. Twitch's unseen moves. For a regular Twitch player, this first bit won't be any use. You can use the small time that Twitch takes to stealth himself for actions like pulling back. This is a little bit safer since opponents would have to step right next to you to see you. My advice, don't make a habit out of it. Sometimes you'll wait in base longer cause you used mana that you now have to restore, and since the cooldown is quite long, you might sometimes not have it when you need it. It's still usually a decent thing to do. Now, what else can we do with it? Well, we can use that stealth time to hit a plant and jump while being stealth. This requires good timing again, but if you nail it, you can surprise your opponents easily. Let's take a look at this from the blue side's point of view. Everything seems alright, but when they walk down, pay attention to the plant. There actually will be a brief visual there that might be because of the replay or a mistiming, but it's way too short to notice and make sense of it, which means the play is still completely unexpected and a nice one to have in your pocket. Number 1. Blue wards and the warding indicator. Warding is a very important thing, and players who perfected it can have huge advantages. So let's look at this case, warding in the blue buff area. If you want to see the blue buff, a lot of players usually ward inside this bush. Nothing wrong there, but you can't actually see the other side, which makes stealing the buff somewhat dangerous. On the other hand, if you ward outside of the bush, you can see the area, but usually not the buff, and there is no way to combine the two. Well, of course there is one. You can actually put a ward inside the bush that will see both areas. Not using your wards with Smartcast, but clicking them and seeing the cursor change helps with this a lot. If you pay close attention, the cursor actually changes from blue to green if the ward is going to be placed inside the bush. If you're using the new cursor, it will get a green edge. This way you can move the ward to the most outer edge of the bush and the result speaks for itself. Just look at that vision. You can see both the buff and the area around it, which makes that area a lot more safer and open for your plays. And the cursor indicator can obviously be used to help with warding in every bush. This awesome underlay is brought to you by Luna, aka Ignite the Dream. Alright guys, so this last bit is just this little clip that is taken from one of my games, and it's just something really random that happens when Trundle attacks the dragon, and I thought that looked quite cool, so here it is. I hope you enjoy it. And I also hope that you get to improve your games with some of the tricks I showed you today, and if you did, I would love to hear about that in the comments. Thank you so much for watching to this point, and because this is YouTube, I have to ask you to like and subscribe so I can make more videos like this, and hopefully then I will see you soon.